system. What do you think about Iran's national net? Starlink internet receiver is expensive for most of Iranians. Can they make a cage? Okay, so a lot of people don't know there's an attempt in Iran by some people, some authorities, to just shut down the internet and have an internal internet that is disconnected from the rest of the world, or just people get connected to the rest of the world just with permits and stuff like that. They recently passed a current bill that doesn't do this, but it seems like they're trying to move to that direction. A lot of people say, and I think that's true, that would be technically impossible to do. I don't know how possible or impossible that would be. And people say even if they're capable of doing it, that would devastate the country so much that it will topple. Like people will just be like, okay, that's it. They will topple the government if that happens. I don't know. Like the Iranian people have already had access to the internet. To get that away, to take that away from them, that would be like just, a lot of people's businesses and lives depends on the internet. I don't know if that's going to happen. It just seems like impossible. If it happens, then I'm like, okay, like, come on. If this doesn't topple the government, I don't know why will. And I think like a lot of people who are passing these bills when it comes to like trying to censor the internet, they themselves have no idea what they're passing because they have very limited technical understanding of what the bill is trying to accomplish, and then they just pass a bill, and the people who have to do it technically, then they were like, well, this is impossible, and like, just make it happen. And also, this is basically directly coming from the supreme leader himself. Like the Khamenei sees social media as a major threat, and he's just like demanding it, like that we need to like just shut down the internet, and we just need to have our own Facebook and our own Instagram. And people like, well, people don't like people, he just thinks like he could just make a Iranian Facebook and then shut down all social media, and everybody will just stay on Iranian social media. That's his dream. That's what he wants. It just so I mean, this is a guy that has said some things that I can't even repeat here, that makes me understand that he's delusional, and his understanding of science and technology is so childish that he doesn't even know what he's asking for. However, because of this push now in Iran to shut down the internet from the external world, a lot of people are now tweeting at Elon Musk that like they're about to shut our internet. When is Starlink coming to Iran? When is Starlink? I don't know if people know what Starlink is. Starlink is like Elon Musk's company trying to provide satellite internet coverage all over the world, and it's like, I think like within a year or two it will get coverage all around the world. It still hasn't gotten coverage in Iran, but like they're adding satellites really fast, and it will have coverage everywhere. So that means that anybody on the planet that has a Starlink account will be able to connect to the internet without going through any internet providers. And if people in Iran and China manage to have access to Starlink, that will be devastating to the governments there, because that means like the end of censorship. Like for these, that would be the end of censorship. And I can't even imagine the consequences of having no censorship in China and in Iran, right? Like people just being able to directly connect to the internet with no government in between. It would be, I can't even start to imagine the effects that would have on Iran. It would be amazing. It would be glorious. It would be a revolution of its own. So Elon Musk might be able to bring freedom to China and Iran just with the Starlink. However, what Qasim is asking is that I think it's $150 for you a month, right? And $150 a month to pay for a Starlink account. Am I correct? And what they're saying is that most Iranians are not going to be able to pay that, right? However, my understanding is that it's not one. You don't need to have one. I don't know what the equipments are. You need to get the equipment. You need to pay for that. But an entire building can share that. So you could get one per entire building. Like not everybody has to have their own equipment and their monthly plan. So I think like if you look at it that way, you could have an entire complex sharing that, right? So if that's how, in that case, I think it might become more affordable than a lot of people think.
Hey guys, if you want to join these streams live, get your comments and questions read by Ali and Armin and the guests, And most importantly, to get full access to the full video versions of all these episodes, become a patron. Link in the description below.